Hello. Oops. Good afternoon, everyone. May I please invite you to take your seats so we can begin? There should be plenty of seats for everyone. And if there aren't, we have more seats in the back. We can set them up for you. So, my name is Karen Hoffman, and I have the honor and pleasure of introducing Peter Greenberg. I don't think he needs an introduction, but we're very honored to have him here. CBS Travel News and does many other things, but he's an icon in our industry, so we welcome him. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Karen, and welcome to the 17th Annual World Travel Awards. Hard to believe it was started in 1997. I'm going to read to you the mandate here, which is interesting because it does go back 17 years. Honoring destinations, companies, organizations, and attractions for outstanding initiatives related to the travel and tourism industry and in fostering sustainable tourism and developing programs that give back to local communities. Hard to believe that in 1997 the word sustainable was even being used, but nice to see that it was. This award is presented by the founding sponsors Reed Travel Exhibitions, a name I think all of you know, and the International New York Times, and joined by Corinthia Hotels, and this year by our friends at United Airlines. To my right here, you will see the awards. They're from M. Dina in Malta, beautiful glass sculptures, specifically crafted and organized for this particular award ceremony. And also would like to mention we have a number of ministers with us today. Thank you for joining us, and I will be talking to you later about things I want to talk about of interest. But first, please join me in welcoming the sponsor representative here, who is the head of marketing and communications for Reed Travel Exhibitions, Kate Macbeth. Kate?
Good afternoon, everybody. As host and founding sponsor of the World Tourism Awards, Reed Travel Exhibitions is very proud to celebrate this milestone, the 17th anniversary, with our co-sponsors, Corinthia Hotels, International New York Times, and for the first time, United Airlines. Since its launch in 1997, we have witnessed the World Tourism Award grow both in stature and global recognition. This is in large part due to the distinguished list of past honorees and their extraordinary achievements in the industry. It's also in part to the shared vision of all the sponsors and our continued commitment to honor and award those in our industry who have made individual achievements and recognize those organizations and companies, like the ones we're recognizing today. We're also very proud and pleased to announce for the first time the World Tourism Humanitarian Award. In our fast-paced digital world, it is especially significant that we honor those in our industry who still invest time and money in an effort, no matter how modest, to make this world a better place for generations to come. We especially want to thank Peter Greenberg today for hosting the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, and please join me in welcoming a longtime sponsor of the World Tourism Awards, Fiona Harris, from Corinthia Hotels.
Thank you, Peter, and welcome everybody. It's a pleasure for Corinthia to be here again this year to support the World Tourism Awards. I'm not sure how many of you know, but Corinthia started in 1962 as a little restaurant in Malta. It was actually the family home of our chairman, which was converted into a restaurant, and then in 1968 into a hotel. And from those early days, the Corinthia Group has always supported local businesses and local enterprises and charities in all the destinations that we've slowly opened hotels in over the last 50 years. So supporting these awards is a real natural for us because it embodies really our chairman's philosophy of supporting locals and supporting those who foster and engender sustainable tourism. So we have similar similar charitable projects that we now support in London, in Budapest, Prague, Lisbon, St. Petersburg, and in our hotels in Africa as well. And I know our chairman personally takes the charities very seriously and often travels to parts of Africa with charities such as Just a Drop, who were an honoree last year, to look at developments of wells and water supply. So it's another honour for us to be up here again and to support a new roster of charities and organisations that are promoting tourism and sustainable tourism. So just to say congratulations to everybody in advance, and we look forward to supporting these again next year as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. The next person I'm going to introduce, before I introduce them, I want to give you a little bit of background because I know firsthand about the work that they do. It's a sad statement that most airlines, especially in the United States, haven't earned back their capital investments since the Wright brothers. It's a fact. And isn't it interesting that only now, in the last year, are airlines actually earning a profit, in some cases even giving a dividend to their shareholders? So it's of particular note that I would like to honor our next person I'm going to introduce, because this airline was actually on board with sustainable tourism and responsible tourism during the lean years when airlines weren't making very much money at all. So would you please join me in honoring and welcoming one of our sponsors, Bob Schumacher, who's the Managing Director of Sales for the United Kingdom for United Airlines. Bob.
Peter, thank you, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. United, along with other sponsors here today, is pleased to be taking part in this year's World Tourism Awards ceremony here at the World Travel Market, a rather appropriate venue where travel colleagues from around the globe gather to conduct business. I know that an enormous effort has been made by everyone to organise today's event, and congratulations to them. Like the World Tourism Awards, United is committed to achieving and recognising excellence. I know this is true for all of the organisations sponsoring today's event and those being recognised for their particular achievements, whether it's innovation of new technology, developing projects to support local communities, or the promotion of sustainability. At United, we have a few outstanding points of our own. Making money. Thanks, Peter. We have a network that spans the globe. We have a fleet of over 700 aeroplanes, including the new Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Ultimately, United will receive 65 of these aircraft. We've also orders for 35 Airbus A350, and these are both two of the most economic, most efficient airplanes in the world. From the United Kingdom, we serve all the main regions: Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast, London, and only this time last week did we announce new service from Newcastle next summer to New York. I want to close by saying we recognise the importance of travel and understand the role that we have to play as a global carrier in meeting the ever-changing needs of our customer around the world. We appreciate the great work that is undertaken by the World Tourism Awards, and in particular the commitment of Petra Nemkova, founder and the chair of the Happy Hearts Fund. Thank you for listening, and I'll hand you back to Peter. Thank you, Peter.
We talked about Corinthia being one of the very first sponsors of this. Well, the founding sponsor, I'd like to introduce Patrick Falconer, the Managing Director for the UK for the New York Times.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to be here after 17 years. It's as a founding sponsor. These are fantastic awards. I hope all of you have found copies of the International New York Times on your seats, and I urge you to read them. It's a very good read. The New York Times is very interested in projects like this because it's something that the New York Times stands for as well, which is actually taking stories like these to a much, much broader audience. We actually have now an audience of, I think, something like 65 million people consume our content every day in print and digitally. So it's not a bad vehicle to actually get some content on projects like this out there. But what I'd just like to say on behalf of the New York Times is that the honorees, I think, if you know much about them, I think we're all going to find out a lot more about them, they've shown great leadership and they have shown great vision, and such visionary projects that I guess they actually educate us. They open our minds, they open our eyes, and most of all, they actually do some considerable good in the world. So, congratulations to everybody. Thank you.
And now on to the awards. Our first honoree for the World Tourism Award, in recognition of its mission to promote a sustainable way of life through education and field research, enlisting more than 100,000 people in nearly 1,400 conservation projects in more than 120 countries, so that future generations may enjoy all the natural wonders the planet has to offer. Let's take a quick look at the video.
Our planet is a stunning panorama of life. For thousands of years, surviving extraordinary challenges and changes at the hands and for the benefit of man. But our planet's resources have a limit, and today we stand at the threshold. We must safeguard the vital link between humans and nature to sustain all life on Earth. For over 40 years, Earthwatch has sought to understand and protect our shared planet. Now, in the face of today's most pressing environmental threats, Earthwatch is taking action like never before. Bringing together a community of scientists and people like you, Earthwatch is finding new ways to respond to the defining moments of our generation. We realise that understanding is key to informed action. It takes more than one person to make a difference. Our research is finding the answers to the planet's most pressing environmental challenges. Tackling climate change, protecting our oceans, supporting vital ecosystems, and preserving our cultural heritage. We engage people in hands-on research, working side by side with scientists, enhancing their environmental knowledge, commitment, and passion. Our vision is a world in which we live within our means and in balance with nature. We want to protect the environment for future generations. Please join us on this journey for a sustainable future.
And I can speak from personal experience, having been on a number of Earthwatch missions, the most memorable of which was in Tamarinda in Costa Rica, where we got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch the giant leatherback turtles, prehistoric in nature, if you've never seen one, coming up on the beach in the middle of the night in the early morning hours to hatch their eggs, and then working with the scientists to make sure we protected those eggs against poaching. A mind-boggling, eye-opening, and life-changing experience. If I can ask the sponsors to join me here at the podium to present the award, and of course ask Sue Holden, the Executive Director of the Earthwatch Institute, to please come to the stage.
Well, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Karen. It's a great honour to receive this award tonight, and I'm really grateful to Corinthia for nominating us for this, because Earthwatch has been doing this for 40 years, and we try to get people to experience the natural environment firsthand, because that's the way we believe that people learn about our environment and learn about the things that need to happen to make a difference. People leave our holidays and our week-long expeditions saying it is life-changing and it's transformational. So it's fantastic to have this recognition for our work. Thank you.
One more picture here. Yes. Oh, okay. We'll do the hostage walk. Our next honoree for the World Tourism Award, I'll read the proclamation here. In recognition of its leadership in encouraging responsible tourism practices in the travel and tourism industry through its Sustainable Tourism Award program, as well as being a role model of supporting local communities, isn't that important, following natural disasters. I'm also honored to be able to say I've been to this place, and first, let's watch the video.
Singita's philosophy is to protect large tracts of land for future generations, to preserve and to protect them. The world population is growing from its current 7.5 billion people to close on to 10 billion people over the next 45 years. That means that demand to see a typical Singita offering is going to continue. You know, nature has evolved over millions and millions of billion people years, and so one of the golden rules in conservation management is that you can't reverse a process in one day. Everything takes a long time. You're seeing business today being run with a much shorter time frame, with less strategic thinking than ever before. There is a stark difference between that kind of approach and Singita's approach. Singita's approach is very much looking at 20, 30, 50, even 100 years ahead. And we have built this business block by block. And so there are these two decisions. The one is to ensure that nature's left to itself, that man does not interfere. The other is that we have to intervene very quickly to ensure that areas are protected for the long term. It is so incredibly authentic to come to Africa. It's a totally natural experience. People say to me that they go home looking at life very differently. And so it impacts on you on a spiritual basis, on a physical basis, on a sensory basis. And there is a sense of well-being that they don't normally have when they are at home. At Singita, we will only take on new projects if they are as good, if not better, than our existing product offering. And we look for these painstakingly, and they are rare, they are difficult to find. But in the final analysis, we are building a legacy. And that legacy, we hope, will endure for a long time to come.
You know, the video doesn't lie, it's pretty posh. But my metric for responsible and sustainable tourism is not posh. My metric is follow the money. Where does the money go? And in Singita's case, it goes back to the local communities, and that's what makes a huge difference. So if I can ask the sponsors to come back to the podium, please, as we award the World Tourism Award to El Reineck from Singita.
Chase it all when she Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, Peter. Singita, the word itself is a Shangaan word meaning place of miracles. Singita actually has over 500,000 acres of land under management. And we, as Luke said in the video, our core aim is to preserve and protect these large tracts of land for future generations. What we offer is a completely unrivaled luxury safari tourism opportunity for our guests. And as Peter quite rightly said, these guests are safe in the knowledge that their money is being ploughed back into local communities and environmental projects throughout Africa. I'm truly, truly honoured to accept this World Tourism Award on behalf of Luke and the whole Singita team. Thank you so much.
And now the proclamation for our next honoree. In recognition for developing the cutting-edge global social network platform and technology, Google Glass, that enabled committed photographers around the world and some uncommitted photographers around the world to share their travel experiences in real time directly into the homes of people whose mobility is limited. Let's watch the video.
Freedom for me has always just been going for a walk in the woods, finding the perfect light and getting the shot. I think I started when I was 12 years old, putting that canoe on my shoulders, carrying it down to the lake, and going for a paddle. John Butterell, as a young photographer, his epic canoe trip, 1969. That was a long time ago. One day, I was out taking pictures, and I thought, how cool would it be to attach a phone to your camera and hang out with 5-10 people? And they would see exactly what I was seeing through the viewfinder of my camera.
It's gorgeous.
It was pretty amazing. And the next day, Corey Fisk came into the hangout.
I love photography, and I have been living with MS 10 years, and this is my world. There's nothing more to my world than that.
I just said, tomorrow I'll take you for a walk. I'm going to walk closer to that old tree over there.
Down a little,
Okay.
a little more, right there. Lovely.
Look up. Look way up.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, macro that one.
Got it. For a few brief minutes, she wasn't going to be in that bed. She was going to experience her own momentary escape. She was on a virtual photo walk, and we didn't even know what one was then, but we were sure doing it. The next day, we posted the video. People saw it and started sharing it, and photographers all over the world jumped on board.
So we're bringing lots of people around and giving them a Hawaii view here.
Oh, yes, we have the sea turtles.
Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
We're in beautiful Cape Town, a couple of buffalo.
This is Utah Lake.
I'll be emailing you photos soon.
I never anticipated that so many photographers would give their time and feel so committed. As a photographer, you're in a special place taking pictures, and now people are with you, and for that brief time, you're giving them a little bit of freedom.
I'm just gonna sneak around here.
It's a very rewarding thing.
Can you guys see what I'm seeing at the moment?
That is something.
How cool is that? Totally, totally cool. If I could ask the sponsors to come back and join me here at the podium as we present the World Tourism Award to Lasse Wasserman, the Senior Program Manager from Google.
Thank you, Peter. I'm truly honored to stand here for Google and receive this award, especially in this long list of honorees with so amazing and interesting achievements. For us, with Google and with Glass, we develop technology, and for us it's truly amazing to see people take this technology out into the world. On Glass, we call our first customers the explorers, which have taken Glass into all corners of the world and shown us really what this technology can do and how it can actually enrich people's lives. So the thank you really goes to all the people out there that do things with Glass that we didn't even dream of. Thank you.
Did you notice the glasses he was wearing? Just thought I'd mention that. You know, as a cynical journalist, I usually rail against technology that takes precedence over common sense. But in this case, you have to love technology that embraces and advances common sense. Thank you again. That's great. You know, in my opening remarks, I reminded you this is the 17th anniversary of the World Tourism Awards, and most of the time we celebrate anniversaries. But the next story I'm about to tell you does not celebrate an anniversary, although the 10th anniversary is next month. It acknowledges it, we'll commemorate it, and hopefully we'll learn from it. And let's just watch the video first.
Petra Nemcova went through the 2004 tsunami in Thailand and lived. You lost your fiancé, he died that day.
I saw a huge need for sustained response after natural disasters, as children were forgotten for 6 years later without safe schools and without any hope for a brighter future. A great opportunity for us to come together and hear those children's voices. Let's bring them brighter and safer future.
Our honoree didn't just live that story, she lived to tell that story, and continues to tell that story in a way that, as you can see, is quite meaningful. It makes an impact all over the world. I was lucky enough to be able to work with Petra on this, and a special shout out to our friends at United Airlines, who also joined on board to be one of Happy Hearts Fund's partners in providing the airlift to those most needed areas in their biggest time of need. Let me read the proclamation. In recognition of Petra Nemcova's inspiring philanthropic initiative and vision in creating Happy Hearts Fund in 2006, by the end of 2014, HHF will have rebuilt over 100 safe, resilient schools in areas impacted by natural disasters, bringing hope and empowerment to more than 48,000 children and 490,000 community members in 9 countries around the world. So many more countries to go. Please join me if I can ask our sponsors to come back to the podium, please, in presenting the first World Tourism Humanitarian Award to my friend, Petra Nemkova.
She comes with a master plan, and I'm starting to lose control. Here she comes to this trasher man, and I'm ready to chase it all when bringing me in, checking me out, making me glorious.
Thank you very much. To go a little bit, a few floors up. It's a great honor to be here with all of you, and I want to say thank you so much to all the sponsors for making this award ceremony happen. Congratulations to award recipients, amazing. I was so inspired and touched by all of your work. And I want to greet our board members and the supporters for Happy Hearts One who have came to be, they are here with us. Today I want to say a special thank you to Peter, who has been a wonderful supporter of Happy Hearts One and is really uplifting angel for many, many children. You've seen a lot from the video, but after being blessed and surviving 2004 tsunami, created Happy Hearts One. We officially launched in 2006. And we are focusing on rebuilding safe, resilient schools in areas impacted by natural disasters. Why I started to focus on areas impacted by natural disasters and rebuilding schools? Because I've seen that after first responders leave, children and communities are forgotten, often for 4-6 years. 6 years is a whole primary school, especially in the rural areas. That means that children cannot go, they cannot start healing. Longer they wait to go back to sense of normalcy, the deeper the trauma gets. And longer the communities wait, more into extreme poverties they go. So we focused on rebuilding in that particular timeline when first responders leave and when it's not sexy to be there. That's when we come in, usually 6 to 9 months later. And we stay and rebuild safe, resilient schools. And why it's important to rebuild safe, resilient schools? Because many of the areas, they have recurring natural disasters. And why this is important to all of us? The last decade, which the tsunami marked in 2004, has shown that there has been increase of natural disasters. And unfortunately, in the next 20 years, there's going to be increase of 320% of natural disasters. Many of them are already happening in areas which they never happened before, and it will continue. So we cannot be reactive, we have to be proactive, because at the time of natural disaster, we cannot act anymore, it's too late. So not to be just to take a step back around the video, in 2006, when we launched Happy Hearts Fund, the goal was to build one school. And fast forward to now, you've seen we have built 92 schools, and we will reach goal and actually overreach the goal as Peter gave it away of 100 schools in 9 countries. But not to be just focusing on the threats which are coming and the projections with what's going to happen in the future. Natural disasters have incredible power to destroy, yes, but they have also an incredible power to bring positivity and bring opportunities. And for example, it brings lots of unconditional love together. I've seen it firsthand the day of the tsunami. It brings communities together, and they focus on not on the power struggle, not on blaming each other as it happens during or after war, but they focus on coming together and rebuilding together. And also, after natural disasters, the communities and countries have opportunity to build back better and smarter. And two great examples in terms of how natural disaster has been a turning point for a community and a country. The first one, talking about the tsunami, Banda Aceh. After the 2004 tsunami, it gave an opportunity to finish a 30-year-old conflict, which has been incredible and impossible prior to that. Now, if we go to Haiti, Haiti before the 2010 earthquake has, oh, there's a champagne. We're celebrating. I like that. I like that. Before the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, Haiti hasn't had any infrastructure development for decades, and it wasn't the safest place. After the 2010 earthquake, there has been lots of infrastructure building, from 300 kilometers of roads rebuilt, 400 repaired, hotels being built, homes, schools, companies such as Marriott and Heineken and Tom Shoes coming and investing. Haiti is now one of the safest countries in the Caribbean, and last year in 2003 has had the economical growth of 4.3%, and that happened because actually of the earthquake. So we can, and those are just some examples, but natural disasters, if we come together, they can actually give an opportunity to really rebuild better and smarter. So with our partners such as United Airlines, who are here, also with Chopard and Clinique Cosmetics, with Hotel Insider, with our community members on the ground, with our partners on the ground, we have been able to build almost 100 schools in 8 years. But if we all of us come together more, we can, through rebuilding safe, resilient schools, we can not just prevent loss of lives and prevent economical loss, but we can actually bring incredible opportunities to the communities and the countries. All of us here, we are pieces of a puzzle. We have different talents and skills, different gifts we got from life. If we can come together, we can build a more beautiful picture of the world. And I think that's a beautiful sort of a sentiment which goes through the day, because it's about countries coming together, individuals coming together, and if we can all come together, we can create more beautiful picture of the world for this generation and future generations. Thank you.
She can speak for another 2 hours and make a whole lot more sense too, I gotta tell you, she's amazing. Well, thank you all for coming. I want to thank Reed, the International New York Times, Corinthia Hotels, and United Airlines for helping to sponsor this, of course, the 17th annual. And a word of thanks to the Bradford Group. Karen is sitting right over there. They've been here from day one to really make sure that this actually happens and works as smoothly as it does today and it has done before. You heard a bottle of champagne pop, didn't you? Well, because it's now time to celebrate. I believe we have some in the back, don't we? So if guys, you could come forward, where would that champagne be? Oh, it's right in the back. Well, don't all rush the table. Thank you all for coming. Thank our honorees, thank our sponsors, and please enjoy a toast.